Hello, guys. Welcome to AMC Prep Talks. So, today the topic of our video is UTI in adults. UTI is a very important topic for AMC in the section of medicine, and there are different domains AMC tests you under the heading of UTI, and which are UTI is divided into the acute cystitis and acute pyelonephritis, and these are the causes of UTI. And then we have the recurrent UTI, catheter-associated UTI, UTI in the patients with stents, and the most important of all of them is the UTI during pregnancy. So we are going to cover all these topics in our videos. So starting with that, what is the etiology of UTI in adults? So, the most common cause of UTI overall, whether it is the patient with or without functional or anatomical abnormality of urinary tract, is there. The most important, most common cause of UTI would be the E. coli, right? So, UTI is divided into two, that is acute cystitis and the acute pyelonephritis. Acute pyelonephritis is actually the upper renal tract infection, and acute cystitis is the lower urinary tract infection. So they are different symptom wise, and the management of both of these is also different. So you have to make sure that you are able to differentiate between the two. So we have acute cystitis, and acute cystitis presents as with the acute dysuria, that is the pain during maturation. Frequency is increased, and there is urgency, and occasionally suprapubic tenderness is also there. And in males, it is actually uncommon. Acute cystitis is uncommon. So, what are the differential diagnoses of acute cystitis? Because there are many other conditions that can present the same as the acute cystitis. So, it can be acute pyelonephritis in patients with flank pain, vomiting, or fever, and costovertebral angle tenderness. STIs, sexually transmitted infections. There are cervicitis, urethritis, and pelvic inflammatory disease, vulvovaginitis, and acute bacterial prostatitis. In males with fever and obstructive urinary symptoms or prostate tenderness and gentle diarrhea, we are going to suspect the acute bacterial prostatitis. Then we have the chronic bacterial prostatitis, and it is suspected in males with recurrent UTI. So in male population, the UTI are not very common, and if the male gets the UTI, we have to investigate that. So it is mostly because of the prostate enlargement and prostatitis UTI. So how are we going to investigate for the patient with UTI? And so if the patient is asymptomatic, there is no need to do the urinalysis, and I know you need to do urine microscopy and culture, except for the patients who are pregnant and patients who are undergoing elective urological procedures. So these are the two population groups for whom we are going to screen for urinary infections, and we are going to do the urinalysis and urine microscopy and culture in the asymptomatic patients. So if the patient gets first episode of acute cystitis and he's a non-pregnant female, she is a non-pregnant female with symptoms, we are going to treat him empirically, and the antibiotics can also be given without investigation. But keep that in mind. The management of UTI is non-antibiotic and antibiotic, and the patient is given two options, that he can also have the non-antibiotic treatment, because most of the UTIs get resolved within a week with just the painkiller. So if that is the first episode of acute cystitis, it can be treated without investigation, and there is no need for investigation. Now we are going to obtain the midstream urine sample for symptomatic patients when the diagnosis is uncertain, when the patient is pregnant and male. The patient has recurrent UTIs, that is 2 or more in 6 months or 3 or more in the 12 months. The patient is residing in the aged care facility, and the patient also had the patient had recently an antibiotic course within the last 30 days, or the patient has the risk factors for infections with multi-drug resistant gram-negative bacteria. So these are the patients for whom we are going to obtain the midstream urine sample for symptomatic patients. But if the patient has the first episode of urinary tract infection and he also has symptoms, we do not usually investigate him for the urinary infection. But these are the categories you have to investigate. And also, if the patient is given treatment and course of antibiotics for UTI, there is no need to do the post-treatment culture to confirm the resolution for asymptomatic. That is, this place is kept for the pregnant patients. In pregnant patients, we have to check the resolution, and if the patient has persistent hematuria following cystitis, we have to further investigate. With the urinary tract and imaging and cystoscopy, and we are going to seek the urology advice. Microscopy and culture are the confirmatory investigation test for if the symptomatic patient has UTI. So these are the confirmatory tests. Acute cystitis would be unlikely if pyuria is absent, regardless the bacteriuria is present or not. So if the urinalysis is showing the increased number of bacteria and bacteriuria is there, but pyuria is absent, so acute cystitis is unlikely. What is the significant bacteriuria? Significant bacteriuria would be when the bacteria are 10 raised to the power 8 CFU per liter or more, or 10 raised to the power 5 CFU per liter when the patient has symptoms. So if the patient has 10 raised to the power 5 CFU per liter and he also has the symptoms, it is acceptable for the diagnosis of UTI. Now, coming towards the management of acute cystitis, so we are going to divide it into non-pregnant adult females and the adult males. So the management for these two are different. So the non-pregnant adult females and the patient has an age of less than 65 years, we are going to initially give the non-antibiotic treatment. That is, we are going to treat him with analgesia, simple analgesia, but the patient has to be informed about the pros and cons of non-antibiotic treatment. And if the patient has age of more than 65 years, antibiotic therapy and analgesia is to be given. Cranberry juice, alkalinizing agents, and such type of products. These are practiced by some GPs, but it does not have any supportive evidence. So you cannot mark these options for the treatment of UTI or for the supportive treatment of UTI. And also the alkalinizing agents are contraindicated with the nitrofurantoin and quinolones. So first of all, we are going to administer the non-antibiotic therapy. What is the non-antibiotic therapy? Patient usually can become symptomless without antibiotic therapy within a week. And in non-antibiotic therapy, simple pain relief is given, and it is usually given with NSAIDs and ibuprofen. We have to tell the patient when does he need to seek the medical advice. When the patient has fever, rigors, or loin or back pain and vomiting. And before the therapy, we have to discuss the pros and cons with the patient, because with non-antibiotic therapy, UTI symptoms can get worse and they can also get relieved, but there's a chance that the symptoms can get worse, and he can have these fever, rigors, loin or back pain, and the antibiotic therapy later would also be given. So we have to tell the pros and cons to the patients. Now we have the antibiotic therapy. And in UTI, we have first line, second line, and third line drugs. And we have to know that. And antibiotic therapy, first line, we have the nitrofurantoin. It is the first line drug for UTI in non-pregnant female adults. And it is the first line in males and females both. And it is associated with adverse effect when it is used within the long term. In the long term, and GFR must be 30 or more for the nitrofurantoin drug. Then we have the fosfomycin, which is the second line drug, and then we have the trimethoprim. If all the above three cannot be used, or they are not tolerated, or they are contraindicated due to any reason, we are going to be using the cephalexin. And if the culture indicates pathogen that is resistant to ongoing empirical therapy, we do not modify if the symptoms are improving. So, for example, if the patient is on nitrofurantoin and the patient has sensitivity for fosfomycin, we are not going to be changing the treatment from nitrofurantoin to fosfomycin when the patient is already improving on the previous treatment. So if the symptoms are improving, we do not modify the antibiotic therapy according to the culture reports. Then we have the management for adult males. And in adult males, there's a prevalence increases with age and abnormality of urinary tract. So in males, mostly the urinary tract is associated with some urinary infection is associated with some kind of urinary tract abnormality in adult males. In adult males, non-antibiotic therapy is not recommended, and they have to be given the antibiotic plus analgesia. And if the patient has the UTI symptoms that the prostatitis as symptoms as such, the prostatitis is unlikely. So we are going to give the nitrofurantoin or trimethoprim, and cephalexin can also be used. And there is limited evidence for fosfomycin in males. So in females, the second-line drug is fosfomycin, while in males, it is not used. And patients who do not respond to antibiotic therapy, we are going to seek the urology advice for male patients. And if any patient has asymptomatic bacteriuria, we do not treat unless the patient is pregnant or he is undergoing elective urological procedures. So asymptomatic bacteriuria is not to be treated unless these two conditions. And it usually becomes more common with age, and it is common in the older people. And treatment of asymptomatic bacteriuria increases the risk of future symptoms. And it commonly occurs in the residents of aged care facility. And the most common symptom in the aged care population is the most common symptom of UTI is dysuria, and we do not investigate. And if the patient is complaining, or patient has cloudy or malodorous urine, and he do not have symptoms, we do not investigate, and we do not treat such patients for UTI. So the only cloudy or malodorous urine in the older population does not mean the patient has UTI, and we do not treat or investigate that patient. So that's it for the acute cystitis. In the next video, we are going to cover the acute pyelonephritis. Thank you.